Good evening and welcome to another edition of Taking It Back to the Streets. My name is Andy Michaud, the host of this program. Each and every week we talk about issues and topics that are happening in the city of Waterbury. And I'd like to introduce my guest, Mike DiGiancarlo. Mike, thanks for coming back on this show. And you were the first one to get me started back on TV after 22 years. And you did the first show, now this is the 10th show. So we're rocking and rolling with TV, and I enjoy it, and I think it's positive to bring different people on, hear what they have to say, because where else could you hear what somebody has to say like yourself? So I think it's a good avenue for the public to hear what the local officials and people in the city have to say. So thanks for coming on, Mike.
No problem. Thanks for the invite again.
Yeah, so we had the inauguration of the alderman the other night,
Yep.
and I know who else got elected? City clerk.
Yep, so city
sheriff,
clerk and the sheriff, yeah. Mike Dalton and Steve Conway. Yep.
Alderman and Board of Ed.
And Board of Ed, correct.
So that was, it seemed like a much longer meeting that you would have had in the past for an inauguration. Usually it's pretty remote. You just get up, vote, go home.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that the other night. So what were some of your thoughts on the meeting the other night?
I thought the meeting went exactly how I thought it would go. I have to be honest with you. There was a couple hiccups, obviously, as far as our city clerk, Mike Dalton. He's a great guy. Had the they both basically follow a script, and then they started throwing names, obviously, which we expected to stop. So not a majority vote. It's a roll call vote, and he made a couple mistakes early. And the one I want to point out was Alderman Sanchez had gone down to the city clerk that morning and got sworn in. He was told the city clerk that he could not make the meeting. So he ends up making the meeting, goes and sits in his seat, and Mike Dalton never really realized that he had come back.
Plus, he was in the back row.
Yeah, he was in the back, and Mike
Hard
didn't
to
see him.
see.
So,
I didn't even know he was there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's tough to see back, especially you got Brian McEntee. He's blocking half the half the crowd back
You
there.
got an offensive tackle in the front of everybody.
So, I mean, I think it went the way I thought it would go. I had met with Alderman Feliciano Roman, and I met with Sandra Martinez McCarthy, Alderwoman Sandra Martinez McCarthy. We had a couple discussions, and he was very upfront on what he intended to do at the meeting, at what he intended to run for. So, I mean, I wasn't shocked. We talked about rules together. He had his own. We presented ours, and so I don't think it wasn't shocking to me that it went that long. I actually thought it might have gone longer. I'm not going to lie to you, but at some point, you do have a Board of Ed waiting to get sworn in, and you kind of want to try to get the business done for the night as far as for the Board of Ed also. So
they went quick.
Yeah, they went quick. Yeah, well,
5 minutes.
Listen, we got some new blood on the Board of Aldermen, and we'll have to deal with it. I hear all people on this show 10-5. It's 8-3-2, whatever. I don't know. It's really. I don't know what it is. You know what it is? It's we have our 8. There's 2. And then there's, the 5 Republicans that, obviously, the other night, the Republicans sided with the progressive Democrat all night long. Raphael comes out and says that he's a progressive Dem and all that. Republicans side with them. They side with the Republicans. And you have a 5 count right there of people that are locked in stone. And
so you have 5 Republicans, 2 Democrats. That makes 7.
Well, I think you have, I think George Nugent, Alderman Nugent has been known to vote on his own, votes the way he believes you should vote. Alderman McEntee did vote for myself for president, but I don't think he voted for anything else. I think he voted with the Republicans all night. So to say it's us 10-5, I don't believe that. I think that Alderman McEntee will vote the way he feels like he's going to vote. And I don't know if there's a guarantee with Alderman Nugent. It depends on, I guess, the situation. So
it shouldn't be a guarantee on anything, to be honest, right?
Correct.
It should be issue by issue. And
should be. Yes,
Vote your
yes.
conscience and get
Should
as
be.
much information as you can.
Yep, although I do hear that there's 5 of them that are going to be the firewall, they're going to be the obstructionists, that's fine, but you've come out and said it already. So, we'll see what, happens, like you said, vote the vote, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say we have a guaranteed, I don't even know if we have a guaranteed 8 sometimes. We have new aldermen on our side that may feel differently about some of our votes. So we'll have to work through it. We got we got our first test of coming up on the 15th, and we'll see where everybody lines up. Like I said, I don't believe that anything's written in stone as far as numbers. So, but
I know the first thing Rafael Feliciano was bringing up, I believe, was he had a set of rules that
Correct.
he wanted
Yeah.
adopted, and
Yeah.
you brought forward a set of
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah.
Did you see any compromise in maybe bringing some of his rules forward? If not all of them, could you implement them? Would that have to be done at a subsequent meeting? Maybe have a discussion, a committee, a rule change committee?
Yeah, well, we can amend rules probably as we go along. If we wanted to amend rules, we could. We did add the, he wanted to do Zoom. I said, how about written testimony? At the state level, you can send written testimony in. You can send it to us, bring it down to the city clerk. It'll be time-stamped or emailed in. They'll time-stamp the email, and we'll get it. At least we have that person's testimony. They don't have to come down. Winter, snow. You don't want to come down, you can still send your testimony in. We'll have that option now for anybody that feels like they really can't come down to the meeting. They can at least write an email. We'll have that open for. That's going to be something new. We're obviously developing that, the best way to get that done. You can always come down, put a letter in as a receive and place on file, but we'd rather have it as something that's coming in as testimony, goes out to the 15 aldermen, alderwomen, and something you can read. The state level, he did want to do Zoom. Listen, the state, we do the Zoom. They're 1 or 2 or 3 offs usually. Like I'm on public safety. If we have 2 public hearings, usually and then I'm on aging. You're having 2 or 3 for the year. You're not doing it every other week. So we thought that there's a lot of logistics involved, and no other city seems to do it. I believe Alderman Feliciano Roman said Stamford may do it. But the Hartford, Bridgeport, New Haven delegate, nobody does it. Nobody does the Zoom.
I'm a little confused, not to cut you up, but I'm a little confused on written testimony in Zoom of what? Public speakers,
yes, he wanted the
department
ability.
heads?
So how we did it in during COVID. We were home. We were on Zoom. We would not be sitting home. Let's get one thing straight. We'd be in the chambers. If you're healthy, you're going to be in the chambers. We'll all be sitting in the chambers. But there would be a screen on our end, so you can see
had it
us
like
and view
that.
us. Only because of COVID, only President Pernaruski at the time was sitting there because we were trying to keep away from everybody. So he was
Right.
there at that point. TV comes in, the Zoom call comes in. We have the person testimony coming in for to get the 5 minutes
Public
speaking time.
speaking.
Yeah, public speaking.
And you did it by Zoom?
Yes, yeah. So we had done it then, but that was a different world. We'd have to really bring it into the city, and no one else does it. Again, it's not trying to maybe in the future. Not saying it may not happen in the future. Maybe it does. I just at this point, it didn't seem feasible, honestly, that to really get it done. The other couple rules, he wanted to start back at 7. We've been starting at 6. It's been working better for the department heads that stay at work all day long and have to come here now and they basically jump right into the meeting at 6 o'clock instead of hanging around, and then starting at 7 o'clock. So he wanted to do committees, more committees. Listen, we have so many meetings a year, and your people are talking about backing this, and they want to have more committees, and you're going to have to come in probably 4 times a month instead of 2 times a month. We have other people, that I don't want to mention it, that were for this that missed 6, 7 meetings, 5, 6, 7 meetings in a couple of years. So you're at one side of your mouth, you're saying you want more meetings, but yet the attendance
Gotta
is a
show
problem.
up.
Yeah, all summer long. This was they used to do this, Andy. They used to come in. They used to have the department heads come in the middle of summertime. These guys would come in, and the aldermen wouldn't show. Caucuses weren't in there. You're talking about, you're talking 4 weeks now, basically, of really trying to get this work done before you go into the actual alderman meeting. So, is it something that we can perfect? Is it something that we can add down the road? We'll talk about it. Nothing is a yes or a no. I mean, right now it's a yes or no, but in the future it may work. I mean, a lot of other stuff he added was charter stuff, and it was meeting charter stuff. It's in the charter. That the charter is our governing doctrine. We know that, So it's, basically, that seemed to be the real sticking points. He did want to seem to take some power away from the president, some powers away from the mayor. He wanted to be able to pick some commissions. That's, but again, that's all dictated still by the charter. So, again, and I think, and basically by our automatic rules. So,
Yeah, I know I haven't heard about this before, but with the Zoom, and you said have your written remarks. I mean, one thing about speaking at the Board of Aldermen is you have to make the effort to get there if you're serious about speaking. I mean, I think maybe like a downside of Zoom, you could have a house full of people that want to be obstructionist, and everybody in the house gets 5 minutes, and you could be there for an hour, 2 hours, because they want to delay it.
right. And I brought that up to him. I did say, listen, we have 20 people call in. It's 100 minutes, right? It's 100 minutes of testimony.
Yeah.
We still have people in the chamber that want to speak.
Yeah.
We'd have to stagger. We'd have to, and then we want to cut somebody off. I don't know if that's the right way to do things either. What if you're number 21, right, and you want to speak, and we have to cut you off because of time restraints or constraints? I don't think that is another option either, because now we've just cut somebody off that wanted to speak.
That hopped in the car and went down.
Right. I think the proper way to do it is to come down, speak before us, or now you have the written option. You don't have to come down. You can put that testimony right on a piece of paper. Send us your gripes. Send us, something you'd like to see, something you have a complaint with, and send it in. We'll all read it. It's going to go to every single alderman, either digitally or in a packet of paper, and you'll be able to at least read that complaint, air your grievance, and basically stay home that night too if you don't want to come in. Again, definitely trying to open it up to more people with the written, testimony for public speaking. But I'm not sure we're ready to have Zoom yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's something I would have supported. Written testimony is fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Zoom, I mean, if you look at the downside, I mean, people could just jam it up every night. Have a party full of people and,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, okay, your turn to talk for 5 minutes, your turn to talk for 5 minutes, your turn to talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're serious, you hop in the car, you go down, or I think the written testimony is
Yeah.
good.
And then the other thing on Zoom, Andy, is that at the state level, you did have the people that came on to actually to tape you, to taunt you on YouTube. They're actually people that set you up, and they're get you on the YouTube channel to really start antagonizing you. And we've had it done a couple times at the state level on the Public Safety Board, where the guy was really just setting up one of the members to really just start talking back at him, so you could tape him and put him on his show. So, there's a lot of other things that can go wrong with the Zoom. Make sure you really know who you're talking to. So again,
Well,
so I don't think we're ready for that yet, and I don't think
Something
that,
could be addressed down the road,
Yeah,
but if
again,
you did add the written testimony.
we did. Yeah, and
So
listen, it was
that's a step forward.
yes, and we had great conversations. Myself and Alderman Feliciano Roman and Alderwoman Martinez McCarthy, we all met. We sat there. We met after the election. We sat down with the rules, and the first question I asked them is, "Did you guys want to caucus with us?" I immediately said, "Hey, do you want to caucus with us or not?" And they both said no. So,
Why?
They're going to do their own thing. Yeah, but I asked if they wanted to caucus with us. They were allowed. They could have caucused with us. They chose not to, and that's their prerogative. So, and I'm okay with that.
But I think part of their reasoning is because they weren't involved in the Democratic ticket. So
Well-
how did that work out?
Well, they were Raphael had Alderman Feliciano Roman was going to primary the whole ticket. He ends up being endorsed by the 5th District. State Representative Reyes endorsed him, and Sandra, Alderwoman Martinez McCarthy, and they, at the time, Alderwoman Martinez McCarthy was on our ticket. She chose to come off our ticket and go with Alderman Feliciano Roman, who You know, she said she would just had knee surgery. She was kind of relying on him to really go do the door knock and to get the word out for both of them and all that. And she had claimed that nothing was going to change. Somewhere along the line, somewhere along the way, she decided to not come back to us, and she wanted to do her own thing. So, which is, again, her prerogative. No hard feelings, but, you know, you've made the decision now to not caucus with us. So certain things, you know, you can't really do anymore. You know?
So they decided themselves, they weren't pushed away.
No,
They
not at
decided
all.
we don't
No,
want to be part
no,
of it.
100%, not at all. That's their choice they made. In the election, they you know, we had an opening day at the campaign headquarters. They came in, and you know, someone got a text from the crew that that said, you know, basically, you know, we're not with you guys. We never will be with you guys. We just came for the photo op with the lieutenant governor. So it was pretty much set in stone early on that they were not with us even campaigning. They did not want to be on row A. They made the initial statements to us. They made them in text to a member of, you know, of the group, and to basically say, hey, we're not with you. We'll never be with you. Myself, State Representative Reyes, and the other persons, because I don't want you to know who sent the text, is not with you guys. We just did this for the photo op. So right there is the split probably and the break. And then the other stuff, as far as campaign money and all that stuff, who's funding who, it's above my pay grade. I'm not a treasurer. I just, you know, they seem to want to do their own thing throughout the whole process. So, and then that's understandable. I don't you know, hold a grudge. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. And you know, they'll be their own, you know, two-man machine, or they can hook up with the Republicans and do their
Which it
thing.
seems like
which it
that's-
seems they have, and that's fine. You have Republicans, like I said, you know, the Republican Party is nominated a Democrat to run for president, basically with them, or they supported them. So I don't know where that leaves anybody at this point. I'm not sure where it leaves the Republican Party in Waterbury.
Well, you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, no. Well, I got it figured out. We already know.
I got it figured
Yeah,
out.
I think we know the number. I just, you know, it's you know, I agree with some of them. It's probably going to be, you know, 9, 6, 10, 5, 8, 7. Those will be the numbers, you know.
How about 11?
When well, 11, you got to. Well, we'll see, right? The 11 number is the bonding number. Do you not want to?
Is that budget too?
No, budget's a simple majority.
Simple majority.
Bonding is the
the big one.
Purchasing a building, selling buildings, the bonding. Yeah, that's the big. Now listen, do you not want to bond? You don't want to pave roads? You're gonna have to make that decision as an alder person, right? If you want to, alderman, alderwoman, if you want to. Well, I'm not. We're not getting the 11 because we just want to prove a point that they don't have the supermajority. That's going to be up to you. When you don't want to pave roads, you don't want to do capital projects and all that stuff. You know, you're going to have to make that decision of what, you know, you want to do. So,
How about those deals that you guys voted for with the tax abatements? Did that need 11 votes, or that was simple majority?
the tax abatement was simple majority.
Simple
we didn't
majority.
need a- yeah,
So it's
we
really just bonding.
It's really the bonding is the big thing, and the purchase and selling of properties. Yeah, it falls
need
under,
11
under
votes.
falls under some of that. Yes, yeah, some of the
So
properties.
now
yeah.
that we got one exchange place, when we go to sell it down the road,
I believe sale too. Buying, I think the purchase and selling, I believe. I'm not sure on the selling. Purchasing, yes, you need 11 votes. Yeah, so
how about like
So-
change orders? Like one exchange place, I'm sure change orders are going to roll in to fix it. Does
no,
that have to
yeah,
be?
that's simple majority.
Simple
Yeah,
majority.
that's simple majority. Yeah, the money's first of all, the money's already there. The money, everything we need for exchange should be there. It's
Except the change order money.
It's, but the money's already there. Money's in place. I'm saying. So if they want to add an amendment to
but
something
once
like
the
that,
change orders start
if
coming
it comes
in,
well, if it comes in, is the change order going to come in? We don't know. I mean, you want to dig up Bank Street, you want to dig up East Main Street, you want to dig up Grand Street. The change order's coming in because you're going to hit the first pipe that you didn't expect to hit, and it's going to be more work. We've been through this. It's been explained to us. You're talking about pipes 100 years in the ground, pipes that aren't marked. East Main Street, Andy, they were digging by hand. They had to stop digging with machines to dig by hand in order not to hit something.
Hit
So I
pipes.
mean, you know, that is to.
well, when you go underground, you don't know what's going to happen.
But I will tell you, you know, Alderman Alsep makes the point too. Sometimes you're in a building, you see a wall, or you see something you don't like, you price it out, you size it out, and you're ready to do it, and all of a sudden we got a change order 3 months later when you
Full of termites.
You just
The wood's all rotted.
Yeah, you know, so you don't. It's an unforeseen thing sometimes, and you do get frustrated, right? You've given the, you know, you've given the okay sometimes for lots of money, right? For millions of dollars sometimes. And to have a change order come back in a few months later is tough. I mean, but if usually they do come explain it. You know, they'll explain, hey, this is what happened. We weren't expecting this. This foundation wall was rotted. This thing was crumbling, or you know, this wall was rotted with termites. You know, it happens. We just got to kind of make sure that it's well explained and
Legit.
yeah, and I think you know the new makeup of this board, I think, is going to make sure that everybody's going to explain everything. I think
that's good, though.
It absolutely is. I listen. I've already kind of put the word out that every department head, every person that proposes something to the board,
All hands on deck.
you better be ready.
Better bring your A
yes,
game.
Yes, if you, yeah.
I mean, you did a good job the other night. It seemed like you were uncertain on a few issues. You brought Corporation Counsel
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's what you got to do. Unless you know the answer
Yeah.
for sure, bring somebody up. The last thing you want to do is give out wrong information.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
you know,
I'd rather take the
safe
time.
than
Take
sorry.
100%. I'd rather take the time
So
to
you
do it
did a
right.
really good job
you know,
the other night.
Alderman Feliciano Roman pointed out that the chair can't debate something obviously that we have been probably doing wrong for years in Waterbury, where the chair has debated. The chair has entered into a couple conversations. I usually try to just run the meeting. I mean, you know, the beauty of the Speaker of the House, right? The Speaker of the House doesn't speak. You know, that's kind of what you're supposed
You
to
got
do
a
here
gavel
too.
and that's it.
Yeah, you know, you try to run the meeting the best you can, keep it organized, try to expedite it and keep it organized and run it the best we can. So, you know, he called it out. We got Corp Counsel up there. There was some confusion that, you know, Alderman Feliciano Roman was trying to find it. Corp Counsel Attorney Foster was trying to find it, and I said, listen, I'll just relinquish the chair. Let's get in the.
I mean, especially a ceremonial meeting.
Exactly. I will relinquish the chair. Let's get it going. I'll answer the question, and we'll go back to business, right? So, and that's what it is.
But that's a little bit unfortunate that, you know, you can't get involved in the debate because, you know, like you said, I mean, you represent the 4th District
Sure.
in the city, and
Sure.
now the aldermen can't speak.
Sure. Well, I mean, I could speak. I would have to keep relinquishing the chair. if
Yeah, but
wanted
I
to
mean,
speak.
you're gonna
Yeah,
have
so-
to have 2 seats up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I
You take my
think
spot
we-
for 5 minutes and then come back.
I can always pass on a message to somebody to ask a question also, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, can you guys ask this question for me? Because I really don't want to relinquish the chair or take up any more time in the meeting, right?
Well, I was watching the meeting when you asked the question about the tax abatements. If the guy
Right.
sells the property.
Right, yeah, right, because I thought that was a very important thing,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I think that there's a little disagreement with me on that one, and I think a tax abatement's for the developer. I think it's for the person that takes the risk and buys the building, and then takes the money, refurbishes the money. And I know you don't believe that some of it's a risk, and I believe they put a few million of their own money in the game, and they came up to. They proposed the idea. They got the funding. I mean, everybody's welcome to that funding. Anybody can come in and propose that funding. But I'm one to say that the abatement should go with that original developer. I don't know if the abatement should be passed on. I just
No, it
that's still,
shouldn't.
no. And I'm on the minority side of that. I think with some people, and something we'll have to figure out. We'll go from there if when that cross that bridge when it happens, because again, I don't think I'm a fan of that at all.
No. All right, we'll get back to that in a little
Yep.
bit. Back to the meeting.
But I have no problem giving abatements out. I'm not going to lie.
I do.
I mean, I know
think it's
you
one of the-
do.
I
but
think it's one of the worst things. I mean,
Yep.
Mike Bergen was the mayor. All he talked about was the grand list. Got to grow the grand list
Yep.
because we don't want taxes to go up. And now we give the grand list away.
I don't think we gave it away.
That's what the tax abatement
You
is.
had an empty building that sat there, right? The guy comes in, we got it, we recovered it. What do you give us? About $800,000 for it, and it's back on the tax roll. It's not an empty building sitting there. Again.
Well, it's not really. It's
I will say this to
theoretically
you.
it's on the tax roll, but we don't collect
I will
taxes.
say this to you. Every other city is doing tax abatements in towns. Most.
Well, it depends
yeah.
on the situation. Something like Amazon.
Amazon is not our abatement. That falls under a different
Oh, really?
set of rules. Yeah.
There's no tax abatement?
There is for 5 years, but that's not. We didn't give it to them. That's already cooked in for where the district that they are that they're building in. And that's a state thing. That comes from the governor. That's 5 years.
No personal
20%.
no
20%.
property tax?
They'll pay 20% for the first 5 years. They will pay 20, and then
Oh,
it goes
property
full
tax.
board. Right. That's not our abatement. That's set in stone from the state. That's state statute.
Well, to me, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, because nothing was going to happen on that mountain.
Yeah, and don't forget, Amazon has given us a couple million probably already in permit fees to probably both ourselves and Naugatuck too. So I mean, there is money being made. there's a bunch of jobs up there on that hill right now being created. They're all working, and then we'll see.
Things popping out of the sky.
It is.
You see it
They're
all over
working
the city.
nonstop, and that's hopefully going to get ready. And again, another win for the South End, right?
Win for the city.
I guess we.
I never thought it was going to happen.
Yes,
to be honest
a
with
lot
you.
of people didn't think it was going to happen. A lot of one person's
you guys
quoted.
had the photo
One
op-
person's quoted as saying it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it happened.
Well, I raised my hand. I never thought it was
Well,
going to happen.
You're another person then too. But
Yeah,
the other
put me on the
person,
list.
you know, said it right. You know, and that's never going to happen. Yeah, it happened. So.
And it happened,
you know.
which it's unbelievable. So tax abatement there, I don't have a problem
Yeah,
with.
and
These
in
other
5 years
deals.
you're going full bore. You know, so.
That's good.
Yep.
But
So.
these other deals, 10 years.
Yeah. Post, another deal, 10 years, making $100,000. We're making, I believe, $100,000 a year on the parking from Post. We're getting
Parking for who?
We're getting. Well, they have
There's
to.
nobody
still-
in the building.
They made an agreement. They pay it.
They pay it.
Yes, they do.
$100,000 a year.
Yes, I believe it's $100,000 a year. It's up
For
to that
Ghost.
now. And they're paying their property taxes, and they're probably paying personal property taxes in there too, I would assume. So.
And they have a 10-year
over time, it's
abatement.
going up. I'm not sure what that one was. It might be 10 years. I don't remember what that one was. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's going up every 2 years. It goes up again. So it might be a 10. It might be. I'm not sure if we did 15 on that one. So state I think state allows 20, but we're not doing 20-year abatements. No, but the state does allow for 20 years.
Wow.
So they just pushed it up actually.
I could see maybe an abatement for a year or two to get them operational.
Right.
Then once the building's operational,
Right.
then you got to pay. But these long-term abatements.
Yeah, well, first of all, they say 11-year abatements. It's not 11 years. The first year, they got to build it. They got to actually get the property done. You know what I mean? And listen, St. Mary's, say what you want about St. Mary's. You know, it was three buildings rotting away. I mean, the Republican idea was to tax it. Let's tax it. So we'll take $1 million property. We'll tax it. We'll get $700,000 assessment. The mill rate's going to be 41 next year, so we'll get about $28,000 for it. We'll get $28,000 for 10 years as that building decays and falls apart. Who's going to buy it after that happens? No one's going to probably step in. There's probably some environmental concerns there, right? With asbestos, probably lead paint. So there's probably about let's say $1 million just to clean the property up, right? To abate it or whatever, and then as time goes by over those 10 years, the building keeps falling into decay. Archdiocese comes down. They're going to fight that assessment, aren't they? Because now the buildings are falling into disrepair, beyond disrepair. They're rotting away. But that was the Republican idea, was to tax it. So we're sitting there 10 years later. Let's do the 28 grand. We're sitting there 10 years later with $280,000. I don't think that works either, right?
So they weren't paying taxes?
The churches don't pay taxes the city has the right to finally go after them. That's the point they're making. So is that the win? That's the big win you want? Tax church, tax the property? No, I want to get housing there, right? Valuable housing for medical personnel only. By the way, there was some confusion on that. That is what it's for. It's rent capped. It goes up with the as much as the state tells you can raise the rent, which is not much. It's rent capped, and it's going to create housing there. You know, so again, you know, I tell you the goal is to take these properties, repurpose them, right, and get a better result than what was there, and that is, I think, going to be a good thing when it's done. Sacred Heart, obviously, still a work in progress. We got there's the talk and the chatter around Sacred Heart's getting much better as far as getting some ideas, getting some money in. It seems like that's starting to gain
getting
steam.
some money in. I mean, you guys bought this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a homeless shelter. What happened?
Well, not all of it wasn't going to be a homeless shelter.
Church.
The church was supposed to be it. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, then you got to get funding. What happened is.
So we bought it and we didn't know if we were going to get funding.
So what happened was you have a change in at the top of this country that I think that some of these grants that people thought they were going to get with ease started to dry up, and I believe that's 100% true. I mean, they taken away money on a lot of ends of a lot of grants that they didn't like. Alderman Feliciano Roman, they took his grant away. They knocked his theater right out.
River of free money's over with.
Well, I don't know if that, but that was part of the issue too. I believe I think we thought we were going to be able to get those those grants in, the grants for the community centers for medical, in the community for like what St. Lucy's was going to be, and we thought we got the first chunk of money. New administration comes in, you didn't get the second chunk, so that's the
now we're
issue.
stuck.
No, I believe we're making some headwind on that one also too. That you'll see soon that
We're
is
going to have to bond. They're going to put a bond together
no
and
grants,
fix it.
no bonds, grants. Again, free money. I know you're going to say free money, but it's we'll get it's federal grants that look like they might be coming in. So you know,
I know I saw those people on Wednesday night, and they mentioned one time that I guess the archdiocese with their properties, that if they're vacant for a year or more, the properties are supposed to go back on the grand list
Yeah.
and be taxed.
Yeah.
Is that true?
yes, and I don't even know if it's a year. It may be quicker.
What did you just say? Yes? The answer is yes?
I think so. Yes, I think we could go after them and tax them. Yes.
So, like, they would probably owe us about, what, 20, 30 years of taxes?
As soon as the church was yes, unactive. Yes, right.
Inactive.
Inactive.
Sa-
excuse me.
Sacred Heart over there on Woker Road's been inactive for
Yeah.
20, 30 years.
So we could have, I don't know if it's been 20, 30 years, no. Well, the school was there, the children's school, but the church, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure when
right.
the church,
The school
yeah.
was there, yeah.
Children's Community School was there, so that moved down to St. Joe's, which, by the way, was another property we purchased that's making rent, which hopefully will, you know, by the time they're done, hopefully they'll either purchase the building or there'll be a purchaser of the building, but in the meantime, they're paying their monthly rent, which is 100% chunking away at the money spent on the building.
So, if we could legitimately tax the archdiocese for all their empty buildings,
Mm-hmm.
churches, and schools, why don't we?
We probably could. Not my decision. It's obviously tax assessors or the administration. But I will say this: as soon as we tax it, they'll probably tear them down, and then you're not taxing nothing, which is fine. I mean, I get it.
Well,
you know.
but they're all
And
going to
that's
end
fine.
up blighted properties.
That's what if you notice anybody with a lot of money, as soon as they leave their building or you take the McDonald's on Lakewood Road, as soon as they left, what did they do? They demolished the building. So that wipes out any taxes you're going to make on the property anyways. Now that property
But it
sits
forces
there.
their hand.
Now the property sits there. Yeah, it does.
So maybe they'll sell it cheap. So what do we pay?
Well,
1.6
listen, yeah.
million. Maybe we could have got it
Yeah.
for 300,000 because then they got to pay.
Correct.
Have somebody knock it down and haul it away. That's not going to be cheap.
Correct, but you said the magic words. We still would end up purchasing it, right? Just for $300,000. Then what do we do?
Wow.
Listen, I understand that.
You're in a
the
deeper
goal
hole at 1.6.
The goal is to take the property and repurpose it. And listen, just like anything, and I've had this conversation with you, just like any of these brownfields, nobody is remediating these brownfields unless the city of Waterbury takes it over. No, none of this work. That ball field on Mill Street that was created, the baseball field, not happening without the city taking it over, getting the federal money, the state money, the local money, our tax dollars. It's not happening. It's not. Nothing is good. The Freight Street, the contamination on Freight Street is absolutely insane. Animate. The contamination on South Main Street is absolutely insane. We spent millions and millions of dollars to your point, we'll spend maybe $30, $40 million to clean up Animet or Freight Street, $50 million, whatever it takes to put what on there. And when do you ever get your money back for that? When do you ever get the full grant of that money? When do you get that money back? You don't. You're not going to get it back. And that's for some people, it drives them crazy. Again, I'm the same boat as you are. Federal, state, local, it's all tax money. It's all our tax dollars. But again, I will go back to the statement I made in your last show that I will be the one up in Hartford or anywhere else fighting to bring back money to Waterbury so we can take advantage of that money and do the projects that we need to do, because Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, they're all sucking it up just as fast as you can imagine. So New Britain takes money.
No, I know. Last time you were here, I don't know.
So I mean,
600 million. You
yeah.
told me New Haven's
Listen,
getting,
absolutely.
and Hartford. And
The money that
we're at the bottom of the list.
Well, we're
And I
doing
get
better.
it.
We're doing better, but we're still behind. We still have the same. We have the same problems, if not more, of a New Haven or a Hartford. They've got Yale. They've got these big conglomerates in there that Yale doesn't really pay taxes, but they kind of do pay taxes. They try to toe that line to where they're going to keep New Haven happy enough to where they don't try to tax them. You know what I mean? So I think that's we don't have the monster colleges in Waterbury. We're trying UConn a little bit. We got a little post-action downtown. We don't have what those places have. The big. I mean, Hartford. You're giving Hartford millions and millions and millions of dollars. They got these monster buildings all over the place. Their commercial real estate that their tax money, that their grand list has to be insane. And yet we're still throwing hundreds of million dollars at Hartford. So if I can fight for Waterbury and get Waterbury any dollar I can get, I'm going to do this. I am going to get the dollar and take it, and hopefully we repurpose these properties to better the city of Waterbury.
Yeah, and I do understand that some of these properties that they'd never get fixed if it wasn't for grant money coming in or any other money because you're underwater.
Yeah, I mean,
You're underwater from
right?
day one.
We are. Listen, we got stuck with all these problems, by the way. We got handed all these problems by these big factories that left. They contaminated the you-know-what out of Waterbury, and they all walked away. They all left. They cheated people out of their pensions. They closed up, took jobs away, and left us with an absolutely disgusting mess all over the city. You know, we don't have the certain factories where you can redo them and make a brewery in them and all that. These things have been depleted, destroyed, and fallen apart for years, and that's our problem, right? To redo it. And to his credit, Mayor O'Leary stepped in and he really went to town on a lot of these brownfields.
Yeah,
So
he
we're in
cleaned
a
up a
position,
lot of mess.
Freight Street. Hopefully, the foundation will be coming up. Hopefully by February, March on Freight Street, and we'll be ready to hopefully.
Freight Street, what's happening there?
We got probably going to start the ripping up the foundation and getting rid of the rest of that probably very soon. I think you'll see some action in February or March. I hope, to where we're
Rip
getting
up the
more,
foundation and do what?
and then purpose it to what it's going to be. Right?
Oh,
Is it
so
gonna
we
be
don't
mixed
have
use with
anything lined
apartments?
up.
Oh, we're going to try. No, you're not lining anything up till you clean that property.
Right.
Nobody's stepping in and building on anything until they know where they can build, where they can't build, what has to be capped. You have a lot of questions still.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff going on that behind the scenes that you got to make sure are done before an investor is going to come in. Honestly, So
Well, which makes sense, I mean, but, so that money's lined up to clean that up?
I believe it will be coming in shortly. Yes. Yeah. So.
I see. Okay. Okay, getting back to the alderman, I know when I had Raphael Feliciano on, he was talking about caucuses, and the reason he told me he didn't want to be involved or participate in a caucus was it's behind basically closed doors. He wanted all the caucus information to be presented to the full board of aldermen in front of the cameras so everybody could see what's going on.
Sure. But
And-
that's the goal of the caucus, even at the State House and local, is I'm having a conversation with you in good faith that we're going to say things in that caucus, because we are a caucus, right? We all trust each other, that maybe I don't want it out loud, said out there. So that's the beauty of the caucus, is you're supposed to be talking amongst each other, what you like, what you don't like, what can we work through. And
Yeah,
then-
but anybody
and then-
could walk out of that room.
Well, you're right.
And,
You're right,
you
100%.
spring a leak.
100, and that's probably happening.
That happens
Yeah.
everywhere.
So, to his point, to their point, to the Republicans' point, maybe we don't ask enough questions, right? Maybe we go into our caucus, we iron everything out in our caucus, right? And then all the questions we've asked in the caucus, we don't go on the floor and ask. Maybe some of them we should be asking in public, right? To make it
Well,
look
I
like
think so, because-
and that's to everyone's point, that's what we've done for years. We've always met in the caucus, decided things in the caucus, tabled things in the caucus, withdrew it if we wanted to pull the item, we would pull it, and we would take care of it in caucus. We never went out on the floor and really showed our questions. Well, I think that the time may have to be coming now to where we actually, we present the same questions in caucus, not to my point, maybe not every single detail you want, but you get the questions out there and ask that we should be asking,
Well, I think so because, if you're home watching the Board of Aldermen meetings and then you break for caucus, you go in the back room, everybody's just sitting there.
Yeah.
You come out, you vote, you raise your hand, yes, you go home.
Yeah.
What'd you vote on?
Right.
We don't even know.
Right. Yeah.
It'd be nice to hear that information. And, I sat in one or two caucuses years ago. I had an issue with the city, former tax collector, and inside the caucus, you have somebody presenting information for the people to vote, but it's pretty much always one-sided.
Oh, 100%.
I'm going to show you all the positive things of what we could do here if we vote on this. But we never go to the other side, the downside, what could go wrong, what's not right.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem, and I think you guys voting on it the same night is a problem.
Yeah.
Big issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tax abatements or big issues.
Yep.
Because
Well, we usually schedule a public hearing. We'll have the public hearing, and then we vote on it that night. Same night, we do.
But you might
do
have
set
other
it in motion.
questions, like what I'm saying is I might have questions. Let's say if I got knowledge on an issue that you guys are voting on. You go into your caucus, I have no idea what was said. You come out, vote yes, you go home.
Yeah, yeah.
What are we voting on?
Well, you're allowed to ask questions during that vote. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Aldermen are allowed.
Sure, Republicans
Right.
are sure.
But
Right.
the public has no idea.
Well, well, the public hearing is coming that night to speak on it. You could actually speak on it that night as far as, or
But
in
you're
public
speaking
speaking.
on it after or before the caucus,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I'm concerned about A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Well, you guys just brought up D, E, and F.
yeah,
That we have no idea what it is.
yeah, yep.
And then, to me, that's an issue.
Yeah, I mean, we've always done it that way. To where the point where we, like I said, we would take it up, put it on the old business as the public hearing itself. We'd have the public hearing the next meeting usually, and then we would have the vote at that meeting. But that's the way we've always done it.
How about sticking a camera in the caucus room?
It's not a. It's again, it's a caucus. It's our caucus. It's our conversations. That's the point. You're not. That's the beauty of the caucus.
that's
it's
a
supposed
private
to be.
meeting. Caucus
Yes,
is a
that's
private meeting.
What I'm trying to tell you is
So the public
you
is
really
not
want,
involved.
no. Listen,
The
if
taxpayers.
if Raphael and Sandra, I'm going to start saying first names because then I hope
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
and
you say
I
too
hope
many
they call me Mike or DG because they both have two names and I'm starting to get But if they want to caucus and blast it all over Facebook that's fine. That's their prerogative. We usually caucus as a group and Republicans caucus as a group that they go into their room and they speak. They talk to each other. I'll speak, and Alderman Rodriguez was always good. We would have conversations. Hey, I don't like this. Hey, we don't like that, and we'd try to meet somewhere once in a while and try to iron it out as far as what would work for them. And a lot of times it just didn't work for them, and they'd vote no. And it's again, that's their prerogative to vote no. But it's sometimes they vote yes. They vote yes over there once in a while, and you vote yes as a Republican, you either get kicked off the town committee or you get
badmouthed on Wednesday
or
night.
you get killed on Wednesday night, or you get primary.
You're going to hear it on Wednesday night. You're a bad person.
So I don't know. They can call us yes men, but if somebody doesn't vote the way they want to vote it, they either kick them off the town committee, primary them, or they bash them. So I don't know what's the difference. What it is what it is, and that's how they choose to do their business. But
it sounds like Raphael there. He wants all this caucus information brought out.
He could bring out. Him and Sandra can talk all day long before the meeting and bring everything out they want to bring
But
out.
during the meeting, when you go back from the caucus.
So we caucus before the meeting. There's no more going back for caucus, and we don't caucus. We caucus
It's not
first.
like the time that I saw you had an executive session.
That was executive session. That's
right,
because the
different.
public didn't know. The mayor was informing us stuff on a
So
certain
you caucus before the meeting.
issue. Absolutely.
So let's say you have an issue and a department head comes in.
They don't come in. We do it. We talk amongst ourselves. They're not coming in. We could ask. We'll get a question out to them and they'll answer us. Yeah, but they don't usually come in. We usually
Right, but that's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll get the question out to them and they'll call us up or we'll talk to them.
So that they don't even go to the meeting.
No, unless we request them. If we can request them, they'll come in.
Right,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you request them to come
Yeah,
in to
yeah.
explain things. You have
Sure.
your caucus.
Sure.
So it sounds like what Raphael wants to do is have that department head come in before the Board of Aldermen and he could ask them
Oh,
questions.
well, that's what we do anyways.
During the
100%.
meeting.
Sure he's gonna. That's what the Republicans
So
been
all the
doing.
questions that you had in the caucus,
We
it sounds
should-
like he basically wants to, you guys have a caucus
Right.
he's not a part of.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to go out into the meeting and everything that was said in the caucus is now going to be repeated in the meeting.
for no, because he's not going to be with us. Raphael won't be with us.
Right.
Yeah.
But the questions will be there.
That to my point, that's what I'm saying to you. Is I says for years we've just kept our conversations in the caucus, ironed out what we had to iron out, if we liked it, if we didn't like it, and we'd go out there and to the Republican point and everybody else's point that is not on our ticket or side or whatever says that we just seem to vote yes. Well, we've already had the discussion. We need to take that discussion, I think, onto the floor more. That's what I'm saying to you. Is we ask a lot of questions in caucus of each other, of what's going on, and then we go out to the floor and just vote for it, where we should probably, to your point, start asking some of these questions. And I agree with, the other side says the same thing. Maybe we got to start asking our questions out there on the floor also, too.
Good.
Right, and make sure that we're getting our point across. Too. Again, we don't, I'm not asking questions when I how many respondents were there when it says on the first page, hey, how many respondents were there? We're never going to ask those questions. We're going to, you read the material, you know the material usually, it's some of the questions that are asked are just getting asked to be asked, honestly. Sometimes it's, you know, the questions in the first page. They've asked the, I can,
No,
you know,
I know.
you know,
Sometimes
so
people want to hear
sometimes they're
themselves
exactly,
talk
exactly.
and drag it on.
Right.
And,
So there's
you know,
that
wear
side
you
of it too.
out, and
Right. Well,
you let
listen.
Cory Booker talk for 24 hours straight. Everybody's falling asleep. I get all that.
Right, right.
And it
So-
seemed a little bit like that the other night, that, you know, people were giving speeches, which I thought was good. I mean, you
Yeah.
got a lot of
Yeah.
newcomers.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're nervous up there.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
got to be.
Yeah, they were. There were a couple of mistakes made. People.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
it-
to practice talking in public in front of people
Sure.
and what they read their canned speeches or whatever, which
Yeah.
I thought was a positive thing.
yeah.
Might not have thought it was
I'm not a speech guy.
I don't think the mayor thought it was a
I'm not-
positive
yeah.
thing.
Well, no, listen, I think the mayor was fine. I don't think the mayor had a problem with it. I think we all expected, the mayor included. I think we thought it was going to go down the way it went down. I'm not going to lie to you. We knew they'd be throwing names up for, we thought, every position. You know, Raphael had intended to run for president, and like I said, then we thought that they would still go right down the line, pro temp, majority leader, and we thought they did, and they did what we thought they were going to do. So right, so they threw
No
the names out there.
surprise.
No surprises. I mean, listen, it's you know, I believe they felt they didn't have the votes, and I think we knew we had the votes, and that's fine. I guess if you want to just, you know, do it to do it is fine with me, you know. But I'm not a speech guy. I'm not writing speeches about myself. I'm not having anybody else write speeches or whatever. I don't think that's something they chose to do. I don't know if we never done that on our side. You know what I mean? I'll let my 10 years on the board and all the work I've done for this city and working hard as a state rep and whatever else I do, and I'll let that speak for itself. I you know, if I go give this away or I take care of this person or I feed this person, I'm not a Facebook guy that throws it up there and says, hey, look what I'm doing. I think that's kind of defeats the purpose of doing good things, but that's not the way I operate. I operate as, you know, you're one of my constituents, you call me and you got a problem, I hopefully get the problem done for you, and that's the way I believe you govern. And you know, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll let the other side bash me left and right. I can care less. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and it doesn't affect me one bit. You know, you can, you know, the other job alone, you better have thick skin, right? Or you're going to find yourself in trouble a lot if you don't have thick skin. So, you know.
Absolutely, especially
Yeah.
in this town.
Yeah.
Well, I know our time is moving on over here, but before it gets too late, I got to ask you about the Palace again. And I got to tell you, the last time you were on the show, you threw me off right from the beginning.
Yeah.
By the language.
Yeah.
Events and performances,
Yeah.
and there was never any interpretation. This has gone on for 21 years, and you know, every person that I've had on these shows for the last 2 months. I mean, that's the first thing we talked about was the Palace Theater. Get their opinion and their insight, and I think the conclusion that I come up with is. First of all, Frank Tavera at the Palace, I have nothing against the guy. The guy thinks I hate him. Whatever. I don't. If you called me up today and said, well, listen, I need your help for something,
Yeah.
it's his performance.
Yep.
It's what he's doing. I don't think he's living up to the agreement.
Yep.
It's pretty self-evident. And once you look at the listing of his shows, that, you know, he's doing 50, 55 shows a year with less than 100 people. He has a million different excuses why he can't do more shows. He doesn't want to lose money, Live Nation, the 60-mile rule, the competition, all these excuses. So to me, we're at a point where do we stay the course and keep going the way we're going with no shows or very limited amount of shows, no people going downtown, an empty downtown, or do we try to go another course and fill the place up?
I think we try to ask of him to increase the shows. I think I said it on your last show.
Yeah,
that
you did,
I
but that's
believe
my
the Palace
point.
should be busier. How he gets there, it should be. We also said there's no cultural shows. There's 4 solid, rock solid Hispanic shows. Matter of fact, right after our show, I actually worked the Palace one night. Bomba was there, and it was an incredible. It was packed of Hispanic performers. It was I forgot the lady's name. It was incredible. It was the place was packed, and then they had another one. And they have another one in December. They had 2 more during the year. I mean, so your idea of that they don't have the Hispanic show. I believe they do have them, and they've done well, and they're doing them. we're good. Listen, we're never.
Listen, you go after 12, look at 21 years and you'll see. I
Well,
mean,
that's now.
I mean,
That's
the guy's
now,
nervous.
Now, listen,
He's
that's
nervous.
that's
The spotlight
different.
is on.
That's
He's nervous.
different.
I get it.
I agree with you there. Now, I think recently it's come up.
They're putting
it's
ads
come-
all over the place
yeah.
on Facebook.
I think
promoting
recently
everything.
they've really been better on the making sure that the diversity of the shows are better. I still want country music on there. I told you that. I think we should be having more country music shows.
all day long.
Mid-level country artists should come here all day long.
Well, we both know that,
Yep, I
but
know.
it's not happening.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's my point.
Yep.
We're asking this guy to start speaking in Latin. He doesn't know Latin.
yeah,
We need somebody that could speak Latin, somebody that could bring in the shows. Just like I told you last time, Keith Mahler, Premier Concerts. I know he could bring in 100 shows a year. Jim Koplick, Live Nation. Here we got this beautiful facility here. We'll charge you the bare minimum. Could you bring in some acts? Because Frank Tavera, he's been living under these excuses for 21 years. And how you're going to make this guy flip is beyond me, because he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how.
yeah. Well, it's something. Do we revisit the language, right? Do we make it a stronger language? Do we define what a show is versus an event? I mean,
What does that do? He still can't
I
produce.
think you got to raise the bar, right? I mean, if we raise the bar to what a show is and to how many he has to do, then it is on him. Then
It's on him now. I mean, to think that he's going to sneak away for 21 years, almost a quarter of a century,
Yeah.
because of an event and a performance, there's ambiguity there. So he took the lesser of the two evils, and he figured we don't got to do shows. I mean, to me, what needs to be done, I said to Raphael, form a committee, investigate it. All the stuff I'm talking about, see if it's true.
Yeah.
Look at his shows. Look
Yeah.
at the operating agreement. Look at everything he's supposed to do. He's supposed to have quarterly reports. He's supposed to have a business plan. None of it.
I
he's
believe
ever-
he sends us the reports. I believe he sends the quarterly
I'd like to
reports.
see 'em.
Okay.
But
yeah, I believe that. I'm going to say
let's
he
see.
does.
Let's see what he's done.
Yep.
His job. Come to a conclusion, which my guess is the conclusion is he hasn't been performing the way he's supposed to be. What's the next step? How about if we put out an RFP, request for proposal, and let's see. Let's not say, well, you're supposed to have 100 shows. Well, we're going to make it 30 because you're having a tough time. So we're going to lower the bar.
Right.
Let's see. Maybe there's somebody out there that could reach that
Well,
level.
I said let's raise the bar. I didn't say let's
If
lower
not
the bar.
exceed-
Right?
raise the bar.
I said let's raise the bar. Yes.
How are you going to do that? If he does 40 shows a year and he's supposed to do 100, what do you want him to do?
Well, that's-
125?
No, I want.
How do you raise the bar?
I don't believe that the language reads that. I believe it says events, and that's
So what?
That's my point. I said you may have to revisit that contract and make sure language matches, because
Listen,
you can't say
if you
events
look at-
here and you can't say shows here. Listen, any good
Yeah,
attorney,
but Mike, come on,
any attorney worth anything is going to say, well, that's a problem right there. It will. You know.
If you look at the oversight board and their
Yeah.
language, and we were forced to take this group to run the palace for economic development purposes, and it had to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knew what he was being hired. He wasn't being hired to have Palace Theater tours with 5 or 8 people.
Yeah.
That's not why he was hired.
Yeah.
Have a little jazz group and have 20 people when you got 2,650 seats in the
Yeah.
theater. He wasn't hired for that.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I mean, it should pick up there. I've had this conversation with you before that I'm not disagreeing with you. I just, I think that.
So what's the next step? You're the board president. What's the next step? What do we do?
We got. I guess we revisit it, right? And we say, hey, what
Receive
can
and
we?
place on file?
No. What can we do as a board to maybe look into it, right? We have that power, right? As Alderman Feliciano Roman said, we have the power. I believe we have the power to investigate. I'm not sure how much power we have to investigate everything, but let's just talk about what can be done to improve the palace. Again, I haven't. You're the only. I've never heard anybody else know about the palace besides you.
know.
So it was never anything on my radar screen.
Well, there was 2 people that knew about it. The other guy's dead.
Well, right. Yeah, he's dead. But again, it's not something over the years that, as a board of Alderman member, or as the president
You
of the
never
board,
heard nothing. Just me.
I really haven't never heard a complaint about the Palace Theater. I've heard a complaint about again, and I'll say this. Downtown is a different environment when the Palace Theater is going and it's packed.
You
know
saw it
that.
the other night, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Jam-packed.
I know it is. I said it on your last show.
Yeah.
There is
And the
life
possibilities,
downtown
though, Mike.
with the Palace
Shut
Theater.
off East Main Street, have the food trucks,
Yep.
party all night long
Yep.
after the
There is-
palace
there's
the
100%
show's
there's-
over.
yep.
Maybe something on the green. There's a million different things that we could do to bring people to the city, but we're not.
Yep, I agree.
And
I agree.
21 years have gone by. Time's up.
Well, something to, you know.
We got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to
Yep.
ask you last time. Waterbury. Is Waterbury a sanctuary city?
No,
Do you think it should be?
no,
Okay.
no.
How about
I
the
also
state?
think, I do have a belief on, I believe on certain things too, that we shouldn't be scooping everybody up. We should
No,
be
I agree with
bad, Bad only. I think that's,
Bad
you know,
only.
I don't have a problem with, you know, the person that's been here 30 years working their butts off to survive in America.
No, these Ecuadorians in the city of
and
Waterbury,
these
you drive
Ecuadorians
around-
have changed the face of the city. They have remodeled homes and
All
and
blue
done,
siding.
and done things to properties
No,
that
I agree.
It's unbelievable the work they do.
I would
and-
not want to see those
no,
people.
But
Give them a path.
Yep. Yep.
Make it right. But they are the ones, like you just said, helping to build this city.
Yep.
The inner city.
Yep.
You've got vacant houses that have been
Yep.
vacant for years and years and years. You could give them Sacred Heart. Watch what they do with it.
But I also believe it's our responsibility to make sure that every person in Waterbury is safe also. So the bad ones
Got to
everybody
go,
who's a bad-
right?
should have to go.
So if ICE came to town,
If ICE came to town, ICE comes
Let's
to
help
town.
them?
I think ICE probably has come to town a couple of times. No, we can't help them. The state statute says the Waterbury Police Department or any police department cannot assist ICE. You can assist them if they're in trouble. If they get into trouble where their lives are at.
why would the state do that?
That's the state law.
So if they're chasing murderers and child rapists, you
if they're
can't
chased-
assist.
No, you can't assist.
So if the police of Waterbury know where the bad guys are, and ICE
can't-
calls up and says, "Where's
can't
the
die-
bad
no,
guys?"
you cannot-
You
no,
cannot help
no,
them.
no.
Does that make sense?
You know, I have a different view. I didn't support that at the state level. I really didn't.
No, I know. You told me last
yeah,
time you were
I'm not
one of two
yeah,
people
yeah,
that voted.
right, yeah, one of the a couple only Democrats because of that point right there. I think that, you know, we still have a duty to keep the people of this state and the city safe. So I think if you know a really bad guy is somewhere, you should be able to tell on him, but you can't. That's the law. We abide the law. And I tell you right now, if you had the chief in, he would say the same thing. It's the Trust Act. It's set in stone with the state of Connecticut.
That's the
So-
bullshit act. I mean,
Well-
you got to be kidding me. I mean, you're letting bad
Yeah.
people run around. And I get the other people.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I would be in favor of trying to get these people. I mean, it'd be the smartest thing. Get rid of the bad ones. Keep the good ones.
Yeah.
Give them a path to citizenship.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think.
I mean,
you
these
know,
Ecuadorians, I mean,
agree.
I know
I
many
agree.
of them. I hired them for different jobs. I mean, these are great people.
100%.
Family people,
Yeah.
religious
They go to church. Yeah,
people,
look at,
honest people. Look at the old St. Anne's.
I know the old St. Anne's. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
named now, but they're
Yeah.
yeah.
These are good people.
Yeah, they are. They work hard. They work hard. They're family. They're always with their kids. They do the church on Sunday. You go to the feast. We would escort them the march down to the green, and it's the amount of people that are in that church and go to the church and pray in that church is incredible. I've never seen. You haven't seen St. Anne's packed like that since probably the early
right.
'80s, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
Or '70s.
Yeah, we were kids.
It's great.
We'd be going to St. Anne's
100%.
packed.
100%. So it's,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
it's very positive.
yeah, no, it's been a good, like I said, I to an extent, I agree we should be, keeping the residents safe, but, there are those exceptions that I think that, hey, and again, I'm not sure that, what's really going on anyways. You can't trust any of the news networks on who's doing
Can't
what,
trust
who's
anything
getting, right,
anymore.
right. So that's the other problem too. But again, it's not we're not a sanctuary city. Again, we are not, and I don't. But I think that there's a lot of people that believe what I believe. Right? You get rid of the bad and everything, and we'll have a much better city.
I think so.
So but
I think so.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know we're running out of time. I'll save some
that's
of this
fine.
for
I got
cheap.
all the time in the world, unless you got
Well,
all
no,
the time. Yeah.
we got to wrap it up.
I took a vacation for this, so let's go.
To me, in the city that, the inner city, I mean, I've been a landlord for 42 years.
Yeah.
And back 42 years ago,
Did you ever get any grants for those houses? Any lead
no.
abatements?
Nope,
Nothing?
nope, I wasn't
I'm
in
gonna-
line.
I'm going to check into that.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I
and
want to make sure you didn't get
And
any.
if I didn't, please bring some. Well, my point real quick was, to me, the neighborhoods were much worse then than they are today. Like, I got property on 3rd Street. I built 2 condo
Yeah.
buildings years ago
Yeah.
at 3rd Street. And you could see some of the apartments in that neighborhood selling drugs. And
Mm-hmm.
They move out. Then these Ecuadorians move in. No problem.
Well,
So the face of
you
the
realize
city
how many
has changed.
a guy that you should talk to one day is Mike Gilmore. Mike Gilmore will tell you the amount of properties that we used to have left over, fires, just disgusting properties that have been run down. That we had a inventory of these properties that were there. There's nothing left anymore.
Yeah.
Half burned down buildings are getting bought.
Yeah.
Places on Willow Street that you never thought would get bought are
That's
getting
great,
bought.
isn't
I
it?
mean, it's great, but we get that out of town investor a lot too that kind of comes in, maybe remodels it a little bit, and then doesn't give too much about the neighborhood anymore. Doesn't care too much about the neighborhood
No,
anymore.
don't cut the grass, pick up the
So we
garbage.
need, listen,
Garbage.
it's great. People are investing in the city. People are buying, paying house prices for houses that I can't, 400,000, 450
I know, in
for three
Waterbury.
families in town plot that are 100 and something years old. It's amazing, so
All
it's,
right,
we're
we
trying
got to
to
wrap it up,
yeah,
Mike.
no problem.
I
no
really
problem.
appreciate you coming on. We got to do this. Try
I'll
to
be back
do,
for show 30. How's that sound?
Well, no, not show 30. Maybe show 20. We got to get you back.
Oh,
on
what
it.
is it? Just a show 10. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
I meant,
I'd like to
I
get
meant
you
show
on.
20.
If we can once a month, give us
Absolutely.
updates.
Yeah,
This and that.
absolutely.
And then I'd like to try to set this up over here. I need a little help, but to have groups of people come on.
Sure,
3,
sure.
4 people, aldermen, whomever in the city discussing things. So.
Sure, no problem. Anytime.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Al in the booth is telling me to cut it quick. So my name is Anthony Shaw, Mike DiGiancarlo, Board of Aldermen President. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Collective giving really means to take the spirit of community and translate it into the allocation of resources to causes that are most dear to our